Thank you very much. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Is my voice clear, audience?
Yes,
yes. Inshallah. Alhamdulillah, clear, Mas. Okay. Thanks for time given by, to me for being a moderator in this conference pendidikan internasional held by Universitas Muhammadiyah Jember and co-host with University of Darussalam Gontor. Alhamdulillah, in the beginning, thanks to Allah, because of His mercy and bless to us, we'll able to gather in this virtual agenda for sharing knowledge together with our presenter, Mr. Ahmad Saifullah, PhD. He will present to us about character education in Indonesian Merdeka curriculum.
Sorry. Yep. We cannot hear Pak Taufik anymore.
I think Pak Taufik is having a. Maybe we will wait for a. Bapak Ahmad Saifullah apa dari rumah ini, Pak?
Currently, actually, I'm in Jombang for another program.
Neither ya, Pak ya, tidak dia saya sebutkan. Okay. Sepertinya Pak Taufik masih belum bergabung. Okay. So Mr. Ahmad Saifullah has shared his materials in the chat. Everyone can download that. Oh, that's for Bapak Waluyo Adi.
I can share mine as well.
Okay. It's already with us again. Please, Pak Taufik, if you're ready, you can answer me.
Okay.
Is it a problem with your? Oh, okay.
I think is there some little problem with my connection. I'm sorry. So for shorten our time, let's listen together the convention presentation from Mr. Ahmad Saifullah. Mr. Ahmad Saifullah, the time is yours.
Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Adada khalqihi wa ridha nafsihi wa zinata arsyihi wa midada kalimati wa ba'd. Thank you so much for giving me time to be part of this very interesting conference, KOPI conference. It's an honor for me. Sorry, can I share my screen?
Yes,
yeah.
allowed.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Okay, here we go. Okay. Okay. So today I'm gonna talk about this very topical issues about Indonesian Merdeka curriculum. As we know that sometimes when we have a new minister, sometimes also we have new models of curriculum. Also, this topic also was discussed by Samantha yesterday, and yeah, as educator, we have to adapt ourselves to the condition. So I think this is very challenging for us, especially in the one who are involved in daily basis in educational institution. So today I'm gonna focus on how we adapt ourselves to this new model of the curriculum. Actually, Merdeka's curriculum, Indonesia's Merdeka curriculum, was developed as a government response to the COVID pandemic. So actually, due to COVID, this is not happening in Indonesia, but also across the world, that there is significant learning loss and also learning gaps. So that's why government needs to adapt his educational institution system. So in terms of curriculum during the COVID, there are three models of curriculum implementation in Indonesia. The first is the one our educational institution will implement fully K-13 curriculum or curriculum 2013, and then some of them also can implement emergency curriculum, which is a simplified model of K-13. And another one is educational institution who can implement, develop independently simplified model of K-13. So these three models of curriculum actually was implemented during COVID pandemic. And then based on our experience during how we deal with the COVID, we come to understand that actually we need a simple, easy to understand, not complicated curriculum to implement, especially for the educators who are involved in educational process in daily basis. And then also we need the curriculum that focus on the competencies and also character of all learners. And of course, the principals of school will agree this so much flexibility, about the flexibility of the curriculum, how educational institution can develop in flexible way the curriculum, and also the coherence of the curriculum, and also a curriculum that promotes cooperation, and then curriculum that consider the research findings and also the feedback, the experience of the curriculum implementation before. So I think this model of curriculum really we want it, especially after experiencing what we have in 2019, 2020 during pandemic COVID. So today's presentation, I'm going to focus on how we understand Indonesia's curriculum Merdeka, and then we will focus on character education in that model of curriculum, and also we will discuss the challenges and also opportunities for, especially for full boarding system school, because when we look at the Merdeka curriculum, we really know that there is the ecological system approach in implementing that curriculum according to the government's policy. So the first, we need to understand this Merdeka curriculum, and actually this year still there are limited numbers of educational institutions who implement this curriculum. The characteristic of Merdeka curriculum, actually the Merdeka curriculum is aimed at addressing the learning loss and learning gap due to the pandemic. So it is not only experienced by Indonesian government, but also any government in the world, that they got learning loss and also learning gap during pandemic. So this curriculum actually is aimed to address that. And then also curriculum Merdeka, or Merdeka curriculum in Indonesia, revitalized Indonesian education system with project-based and cross-subject learning culture. We're going to discuss this after a moment regarding project-based, also cross-subject learning culture, because we have Pancasila student profile project as part of curriculum Merdeka. And also, curriculum Merdeka in Indonesia encourage students to develop their characters and also skills. What I mean by skills, of course, based on Merdeka curriculum is soft skills, technical skills, and also hard skills. And these skills we will discuss later on during our discussion. So what is actually the goal of Merdeka curriculum? It provides a broad opportunities for students to develop creativity, capacity, personality, and independence in finding knowledge through realities and field dynamics. So that's why this curriculum combined between intracurricular activities, extracurricular activity, and also something like student-based project. And then also the curriculum focused on essential material, encourage students to study in depth various basic competencies such as literacy and numeracy. And also this curriculum encourages students to master a variety of useful knowledge and skills in the world of work. And of course, I think anyone will agree this because our Minister of Education has very strong background on that. And then also curriculum Merdeka improves the quality of learning by focusing on essential material and creating an enjoyable learning atmosphere with less burden of tasks. This is some goals of Merdeka curriculum. And then the question is, how is Merdeka curriculum implemented? So according to the policy of our government, that we got ecological system approach in implementation of the Merdeka curriculum. What it means by this approach? Actually, this approach is developed by Brown von Brenner in 1970s. That the students are really influenced by the ecology. So there are some layers of the ecology according to this approach: microsystem, mesosystem, ecosystem, and also macrosystem, and then chronosystem. So because of student existence in educational institution cannot be excluded from or secluded from their environment. So the curriculum really want to invite all of those environments to be part of the curriculum implementation. For example, not only microsystem like teachers and then classroom activities, the principal of the school, but also the curriculum one society, and then a family, and also surrounding communities of the educational institution. They need to be part of this curriculum implementation. And also actually the macro system, which consists of social values and also religious values, those also should be a part of curriculum implementation. That's why in the implementation of this model of curriculum, we will see that educational institutions should cooperate with these kind of ecological systems, including society and also surrounding communities, external stakeholders, and so forth. So this is the how the approach that the government used to implement the Merdeka curriculum. Then we moving to character education in Indonesia's curriculum. As we know that actually since 2003, when the Sisdiknas was coined, that the character education is very important part, essential part of the educational system in Indonesia. And the implementation of character education has become even more critical when the government introduced this model of curriculum, Merdeka curriculum, because developing students' character is one of center of attention in Merdeka curriculum. Of course, together with the competencies and also skills, soft skills, hard skills, technical skills. And then the Merdeka curriculum is a comprehensive curriculum that emphasizes the development of students' character, creativity, critical thinking, and social responsibility through experiential learning and local wisdom. So that's why there is a combination between formal, informal, and also non-formal educational process. So in terms of curriculum, there is a combination between formal curriculum and also informal curriculum, even hidden curriculum. And according to Badan Standar Curriculum dan Assessment Dikbudristek last year, that we need to establish the dimensions, elements, and also sub-elements of Pancasila student profile for learning in educational units implementing the Merdeka curriculum. So there are actually, according to the policy of our government, there are 6 dimensions will be actually the core characters that the student of Indonesia have to internalize. And the government believe that these 6 dimensions of character are the operationalization of the general objective of national education, of our national education. So in Merdeka curriculum, these 6 dimensions of characters becoming the essence when we develop intracurricular activities and also extracurricular and also a student project-based Pancasila student profile program. So this become the center of attention of the implementation of that curriculum. And how we implement this model of curriculum? Because the government used ecological system approach in implementing the curriculum. Basically, we have to combine between intracurricular activities and then extracurricular activities, and also what our government have conceptualized as project penguatan profil pelajar Pancasila. So this is very important part of how we implement Merdeka curriculum, and also the culture of our educational institution. This is becoming the basis or philosophical basis of the implementation of Merdeka curriculum. So we need the comprehensive curriculum. It is not enough for us to use only formal curriculum when we want to successfully implement Merdeka curriculum. We need to combine between formal curriculum, informal curriculum, non-formal curriculum, also hidden curriculum. And then, because we combine all of this model of curriculum, we need a whole school approach. It means that every part or every parties of the school, everyone who are involved in educational activities should be part of that program. Not only internal stakeholders, but also external stakeholders, our community, our alumni, surrounding communities should be part of this curriculum implementation. And of course, we need to implement as well social emotional learning, because most of our activities, educational activities in the context of curriculum Merdeka should be not limited in classroom activities, but also extracurricular activities, student project, student-based project, and so forth. So we need this strategy in implementing that curriculum, especially in learning process. And then, as I mentioned earlier, we need ecological system approach that should involve or invite our communities, not only internal stakeholders. Then, what is actually the challenge and opportunities for full boarding system school? I highlight full boarding system school because in this decade, there is significant number of educational institutions who implement or employs full boarding system. Not only pesantren in this context, as we know that pesantren is they have a long history far before the independence of Indonesia. Pesantren was there, but nowadays we see there are so many education institutions that develop or implement and also adopt pesantren system with full boarding system education. So I think it is in line with the characteristic of Merdeka curriculum that require ecological system approach in implementing the curriculum. It means we should invite external stakeholders, we should invite parents, we should invite surrounding communities to be part of curriculum implementation. So today I will focus on how full boarding system school face the challenges and also opportunities in implementing curriculum Merdeka. So when we talk about a boarding system education, actually the boarding system education, mostly they already implement outcome-based education. So they have specific graduate attributes that they want to produce, they want to create. So that's why the model of the education system is outcome-based education. And then in terms of curriculum, curriculum here is not understood as simply a set of learning materials, but also learning experiences. So because the educational process is implemented in the full boarding setting, there is 24 hours activities that can be designed as the educational program. So this is one of the characteristic or uniqueness of full boarding system education. And then in terms of outcome-based learning and teaching, of course, this in a full boarding system school, they make students achieve the goal, achieve the outcomes that has been set before by the educational institution. And also the assessment program should be outcome-based as well. So this model of education, mostly we can see in the full boarding system school, that not only in pesantren model, but also in any kind of full boarding system, not only in Islamic education, but also it is implemented in non-Islamic education system. So outcome-based education, I want to highlight here, has a specific characteristic. Some of them are that the OBE education focus on learning outcomes. So that's why the education institution develop their curriculum design using backward curriculum design. What it means by what we means by backward curriculum design, it means that we set out the graduate profile first, graduate attributes first, and then after that we need to design what kind of curriculum that can help student achieving that attribute, that graduate profile. Not starting from developing the set of materials, but we decide to develop the graduate profile first. And then also outcome-based education, we need to have constructive alignment between learning outcome, learning activities, and also learning assessment. So this should be in one line. And then also it facilitates student-centered learning, and because we focus on developing student competencies, student graduate profile, then we need to develop various student-centered learning activities. And then, of course, flexibility, because it is impossible for us to help students to achieve all of the outcomes, but also we need to be flexible on these. So that's why we also need to implement differentiated instruction in terms of learning process. And then, of course, we need plan to check action cycle in controlling the education program. So this is the characteristic of outcome-based education. And in terms of curriculum, we need a comprehensive approach because we focus on the outcome. It is impossible to be achieved only from formal curriculum. So that's why curriculum here is not understood as merely the group of subject, but also it is understood also as learning experiences. That's why full boarding system school have opportunities to maximize these potentials, designing so many learning experiences for students, because in full boarding system education, the education process actually took place during 24 hours, not only in the morning during classroom activities. And that's why we also need to combine between formal curriculum, informal curriculum, and also non-formal curriculum. And then, of course, we need to make hidden curriculum more visible, because when students living for 24 hours in specific integrated campus, it means that what our students hear or listen, what our students see, observe, experience during 24 hours in full boarding system school, it means will have significant impacts on our student. So that's why we need to make a hidden curriculum more visible. And then, of course, we need an ecological model of curriculum, because a student will be in different layers of ecology when they live in full boarding education system. For example, for microsystem, they have classroom, dormitories room, and also some club, sports club. There are so many potentials that we need to develop, as full boarding system education have very complex ecology for that. And in terms of learning and teaching activities, again, we need to combine between formal education, informal, and also non-formal, and the activities should be student-centered. And of course, we need to implement student emotional learning, and also maximize schools ecology, technology-based, of course, as supporting factors of learning and teaching activities. So all of these should be implemented in outcome-based education, especially for a school who implement the full boarding system. And in terms of assessment, of course, it is not enough to develop academic report for our students, and also we need to develop mental and moral report, skills reports, skills, of course, comprising soft skill, hard skills, technical skills. Not only technical skills that some teachers understand that they need to help students achieving that, but also soft skills and also hard skills. So the focus of assessment here should be on these holistic outcomes: academic, mental, moral, spiritual, and also skills. So based on this outcome-based education that is already implemented by full boarding system school, we try to understand more about an ecological model of a boarding system-based character education, especially in the context of how we implement Merdeka curriculum. If we look at this graph, we will understand that as a teacher, for example, it is very challenging to implement the Merdeka curriculum because we need to cooperate, we need to collaborate with other teachers, we need to collaborate with um, other school elements. We need to collaborate also with external stakeholders because we need to develop, or we need to combine between formal curriculum, informal curriculum, and also hidden curriculum. Formal curriculum, of course, it is very easy to organize because this is classroom activities from 7 o'clock to 3 o'clock, for example, during classroom activities. It is relatively much more easier to handle. But in formal curriculum, much more challenging for us to implement, to organize, because in informal curriculum, we have dormitories activities. We have student organization that where the student involved in so many extracurricular activities, and also community. So again, it is very challenging for school to implement. And then these classroom activities and also student activities in a dormitory or student organization or through a community service program, for example, this is actually the microsystem that, according to many scholars, they believe that microsystem is the most powerful ecology that students have when we want to develop students' potential. Of course, what we mean by student potential here, not only student academic outcome, but also mental, spiritual characters, and also their skills. Though, so there are so many studies that found that microsystem is the most effective ecology for students if we want to develop our students' potential. So we need to combine classroom activities with extracurricular activities and also community service program, for example. And in the context of a Merdeka curriculum, we have to develop the project of Pancasila student profile. Jadi program penguatan, project penguatan pelajar Pancasila, which has 6 dimensions that we have to help our students to achieve. And of course, because when implementing Merdeka curriculum, we need to use ecological system approach, then hidden curriculum, it is very significant because they also have very critical influences on our students' development. Because what students see again in during they involved in educational activities, what students see, what students understand, what students observe, what students feels, experience, all of those are education. So how teachers behave during learning activities in classroom, how students behave during facilitating student in conducting student-based projects, student-based activities outside classroom. This is very influential for the development of a student's character. So that's why the relationship between in full boarding system context, the relationship between dormitories and also dormitories and student organization, dormitories and classroom activities, interaction between teachers and principal, how principals respect his teachers, how teachers respect the principal of the school, how teachers become the role model in daily activities at school. So this is actually the hidden curriculum, and it will be more feasible if a full boarding system school implement this model of the curriculum. And in the context of ecological system approach, this is what we understand as the meso system. The environment where the student actually not directly interact, but it has very significant influence on our students' development. And also, for example, another ecology is that when we can maximize the potential of hidden curriculum is guidance and counseling department in education, in full boarding system education. We have the term in pesantren pengasuhan santri. So this is a very important part of the implementation of Merdeka curriculum in full boarding system setting. And also, and of course, the administration staff, teacher organization, relationship between school and family. This is also becoming the system, the environment where the hidden curriculum actually can play very important part in developing student characters. And of course, all of those activities within formal curriculum, informal curriculum, and also hidden curriculum, all of those cannot be separated from the values, from the school's core values and tradition. In the broader context, of course, cannot be separated from Indonesia's societal values, religious belief, religious teachings. So this has become the macro system that we need to be fully aware, that also can have very significant influence on developing students' character. So this is the model of how character building should be implemented in our educational institution, especially when we want to implement fully Indonesia's Merdeka curriculum. Again, schools should collaborate with external stakeholders, should invite all of the levels of all of the layers of students' ecology when we want to develop or when we want to implement curriculum Merdeka. So, as the end of this presentation, I want to highlight some points here that regardless its prospect, the prospect of Merdeka curriculum, I think Merdeka curriculum has some challenges and is still subject to further tests, because as we know, currently there are limited numbers of education institutions that implement this curriculum. I mean, we need to add more numbers of schools to implement this curriculum in order to have the feedback, in order to have the experiences, what is the benefits, what is the drawbacks of this curriculum. And then another point that we have to highlight here, that regardless any models of curriculum, actually character education should be a center of attention. We know that actually it is only there, it is already there since we implement KBK curriculum. And again, when it changed to KTSP and then K13 and now curriculum Merdeka, actually character education should be the center of all of things. And then, aside from being very promising, a boarding school system actually also has challenges and also difficulties in implementing Merdeka curriculum. I myself, I have a very long experiences in full boarding system education, especially in pesantren. We have some challenges. For example, here we have limited resources. We need very high quality teachers to implement the design, the comprehensive approach of curriculum of full boarding system education. So mostly we have very limited resource on that. Not only human resource, but also not only human resource, but also learning resources. Some of pesantren or full boarding system education in Indonesia also have this challenge. And then a full boarding system education need to maintain the balance between student autonomy and also student discipline. Yes, in one hand, student should be given the opportunities of their independence, self-reliance in developing their potential, but also as, for example, in pesantren, we have very distinct Islamic values, Islamic teachings that we need to inculcate to our students. So we need to maintain this balance. And then there is a cultural and social barriers as well that many pesantren in Indonesia and also full boarding system education have difficulties in this matter. So I think that's the end of my talk, and of course I need to learn from participants' experiences from implementing this curriculum or understanding Merdeka curriculum, which is very new model of curriculum of our country. Thank you so much, and back to our moderator.
Thank you very much to Your Excellency Ustaz Ahmad Saifullah for his impressive and excellent presentation about curriculum Merdeka and how to implement in boarding system of education. This is impressive because Mr. Ahmad Saifullah bring impressive theme about educational character to Merdeka curriculum, how to implement it, and how to implement it especially in boarding system. As we know, a boarding system school in Indonesia may be based on pesantren. And what I learned from what I read, the pesantren is the origin of educational institution in Indonesia. If we back to the history a long time ago before colonial, is there some we call wali songo or ulama, something like that, and they have a student, and student who want to learn from those ulama, they built a cottage around the teacher's house, and that's we call as no pesantren. Because what students stay around the teacher to learn the lesson from the teacher itself. So from the further agenda is question and answer. From the chats, I have see the two questions from one people. I allow to participant maybe raise hand or type chat about the question to our presenter, Ustaz Ahmad Saifullah. For the first question from Rina, participant Rina, the question is, maybe allow me to read it. How do you include the social emotional learning in your teaching learning process? And the second question from Rina too. It seems that in your presentation, there is a report for mental and moral reports. Can you describe us in detail about them? Maybe Ustaz Ahmad Saifullah, you may answer the first question before the audience convey the second question. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Rina Sofia, for very interesting question. So, teaching learning process actually should focus on developing students' potential, all student potential, not only the cognitive side, but also affective and also psychomotoric skills. So we need to design our learning activities by involving student emotional aspect. That's why we need to implement various strategies in organizing our learning activities. For example, there are some model of learning activities that we can do in this context. For example, we invite students to be actively involved in learning activities. For example, we have a sharing session with our students, give them opportunities to express their experience, their idea, their emotional aspect, their insight regarding specific terms. When we teach some topics in formal learning activities in classroom, it is not suitable anymore to use like instruction model. In our term, we have method drama. So it is very outdated model of, although in some cases we need to use this strategy, but maybe we just need to provide a very limited time to use one-way communication to our students, especially when we want to convey very principal topics regarding our religious teaching, for example. And then after that, we have to design interesting activities. We can ask our students to get out from the classroom and then make a circle, for example, to discuss the topics that we just give to our student. And then when a student express the idea about the topic, we ask our friends to, we ask another student to have a comment on that. Of course, we need to set a rule that everybody, everyone, every student have to respect others' ideas, others' insights. So social emotional learning, it is impossible to implement if we only use formal learning activities through a classroom activities program. So we need to set outside classroom activities. And in this context, Curriculum Merdeka has pay very close attention on that, because we need to combine between intracurricular activities and then extracurricular activities, and also penguatan project Pancasila, pelajar Pancasila. This model, of course, it is impossible to implement only through our classroom activities. We need our ecologies. We need environment, school environments. What I mean by school environment is student organization, students club, sport club, arts club, for example, student band, supporting supporting formal activities, for example, community service programs. All of these programs outside classroom will open the opportunities for teachers to implement social emotional learning. And then in terms of can I continue to the next to the second question, Pak Taufik?
Yes, yes, you may.
Because the educational process, the educational programs, not only limited in the formal curriculum, then we need to develop a comprehensive model of assessment. I will give an example in pesantren context. In pesantren, we have rapot mental, rapot rapot sorry, rapot akhlak as the supporting document for academic students' academic reports. So there is specific document that the teacher, especially wali class, to make a report for their students. So these reports will include the report of student development in terms of their characters, their akhlak. Of course, in pesantren there are so many specific akhlak. Al-akhlak ma'allah, al-akhlak ma'a annas, wa kadzalika al-akhlak ma'a environment, ecology. So it is impossible for teachers to make that model of the report a comprehensive model of assessment if the teacher did his job alone. The teacher needs to collaborate with other internal stakeholders. For example, in pesantren we have responsible for pengasuhan, bagian pengasuhan. The teacher needs to collaborate with them in order to develop the comprehensive model of the assessment. The teacher also needs to collaborate with the boarding masters, the one who have the responsibility in organizing student activities in dormitory, the asrama, for example, because this is the domain of, in our term, boarding master atau pengurus asrama. So a teacher needs to collaborate with them. And of course, teacher need to collaborate with the student organization managers, because student organization have also very important part in developing students' characters, students' akhlak, mentality. So that's why to cover all of these domains, it is impossible, really impossible for teacher to do his work alone in terms of developing the comprehensive model of assessment. So the outcome of the assessment, again, we have a student's academic report. We also have student mental report that covers all of the characters, akhlaqs. Not only that, but also the skills, how students achieve the soft skills, hard skills, technical skills, as the complement of the skills that student can achieve through the formal curriculum. So I think that's how teacher can develop the comprehensive model of assessment in order to have or to develop the comprehensive model of the outcome based education. I hope that that's answered the question, Pak Taufik.
Okay, is there another question, Mr. Saifullah, about what is P5 in Curriculum Merdeka in one time, or how many subject? This is a similar question to questioner below with feedback. So maybe you can give answer for this question, Mr. Ahmad Saifullah.
Sorry, can you repeat again? Sorry.
About what is P5 in Curriculum Merdeka in one time, how many subjects? It is a similar question about from the below question. I think I summarized with one sentence question. What is P5 curriculum? What is P5 in Curriculum Merdeka in one term? How many subjects?
So
this is from Mrs. Endah Juhairi.
Yeah, thank you so much. Very interesting question. So, as we know that Curriculum Merdeka is it is still in the process of testing, in the process of the test. I mean, there are limited numbers of educational institutions that implement this curriculum, and we understand that basically the spirit of Curriculum Merdeka is giving the educational institution the freedom, the sort of flexibility in implementing the curriculum. That's why in developing operational curriculum in each school or educational institution, the government give the flexibility, the autonomy for educational institutions to develop their model of curriculum. That's why the set of subjects that what is the optional subject, what is the mata pelajaran wajib, mata pelajaran pilihan. It's really depend on what characteristic of educational institution has. So again, Curriculum Merdeka, the spirit of the Curriculum Merdeka is giving the autonomy for educational institution to implement the curriculum. But anyhow, before implementing the Curriculum Merdeka, we need to understand what are the approach that government want us to use. As I mentioned earlier, Curriculum Merdeka using ecological system approach. So that's why really each school has the autonomy, has the flexibility in implementing the curriculum. Regarding the sorry, can I read in the comment? Oh, P5, sorry.
Yes.
Can you please explain to me what is the P5 stand for? Sorry.
Mr. Endah, maybe you can explain what is what the meaning of P5, maybe. Is there? This is for Mr. Miss Hom Satul. She also asked about P5 program. This is something new because how, Mr. Saifullah?
Oh,
Profesor Hom Satun, P5 is Project Penguatan Profil Pelajar Pancasila. Oh, this is the answer. Project Penguatan Profil Pelajar Pancasila.
Oh yeah. Because in peraturan pemerintah, I did not find this construction P5, the Project Penguatan Pelajar Pancasila. So Project Penguatan sorry, can I explain with bahasa because it is a very new new program from our government. It was established or coined last year 2020. Jadi Project Penguatan Pelajar Pancasila itu sebenarnya ada bagian inherent, bagian tidak terpisahkan dari Kurikulum Merdeka, karena inti dari Kurikulum Merdeka itu sebenarnya adalah selain pengembangan skills yang itu terdiri dari soft skill, hard skill, technical skill, adalah yang menjadi fokusnya itu adalah karakter. Nah, untuk menguatkan atau menunjang efektivitas penanaman karakter, pemerintah itu melalui kebijakan Kurikulum Merdeka, selain harus sekolah itu harus mengembangkan intrakurikuler activities and also extracurricular activities, lembaga pendidikan itu harus membuat proyek penguatan pelajaran Pancasila yang itu adalah tidak harus selalu terkait dengan pencapaian target, kompetensi, atau profil capaian pembelajaran dari mata pelajaran yang ada diajarkan melalui kurikulum formal. Nah, proyek penguatan pelajar Pancasila itu diorganize melalui kegiatan di luar kelas yang itu sekali lagi harus lembaga pendidikan harus berkolaborasi dengan external stakeholder, berkolaborasi dengan masyarakat, berkolaborasi dengan berbagai macam pihak. Dan itu dilakukannya mesti di luar kelas. Misalnya begini, salah satu dimensi dalam proyek penguatan pelajar Pancasila itu adalah dimensi let's take as an example dimensi apa misalnya believing in God, for example. Jadi kepercayaan terhadap Tuhan. Bagaimana tingkat kepercayaan murid kepada Tuhan itu meningkat, itu harus didukung dengan student-centered project that should be organized outside classroom activities. Apa contohnya? Misalnya, melalui kegiatan-kegiatan yang itu bisa mengundang murid kita untuk bisa secara sadar menyadari bahwasanya kita hidup di dunia itu tidak selamanya, kita hidup di dunia itu tidak hanya selalu mengejar urusan dunia, tetapi juga urusan akhirat, karena semuanya itu akan dipertanggungjawabkan. Bagaimana contohnya kita membuat sebuah program yang mengharuskan murid kita untuk misalnya caring to the needy people outside school. Bagaimana kita membuat sebuah proyek, setiap murid harus memberikan bantuan kepada orang yang sangat membutuhkan di luar sekolah. Dasarnya apa? Dasarnya adalah kita hidup di dunia itu, apa yang kita miliki sebenarnya itu adalah bagian yang harus ada disisihkan untuk orang lain, karena sebagaimana dalam ajaran agama disebutkan seperti itu. Nah, proyek-proyek seperti ini sebenarnya untuk memantik murid kita untuk bisa meningkatkan they believing in God. Yang ini sekali lagi proyek penguatan pelajar Pancasila itu dilakukannya di luar kelas yang mengharuskan kita para guru itu untuk berkolaborasi dengan external stakeholder. Jadi intinya dalam kurikulum Merdeka itu intracurricular activities, extracurricular activities, and then P5 atau proyek penguatan pelajar Pancasila ini harus diintegrasikan dalam sebuah model kegiatan pendidikan yang secara integral itu melibatkan ekologi atau environment yang melingkupi semua murid kita. That's why our government set the policies to use ecological system approach when we want to implement kurikulum Merdeka. I hope this answered the question, Pak Taufik. Thank you. Pak Taufik?
I'm sorry, it's mute. Okay. Thank you for excellent answer from you, Mr. Ahmad Saifullah. So there are so many feedback from the participant. There are some who want to know about the moral report or about mental that you explained before. Some participants also agree about the challenge about moral education in Kurikulum Merdeka, because that I have a headline from your point for presentation that the appropriate system for moral education is a microsystem of education. And what I experienced a long time ago in my boarding school is the appropriate institution of education which have appropriate for microsystem is only pesantren, I guess, or not pesantren but boarding system. As you say, yes, the challenge of curriculum Merdeka is education, what we say, character education, but what we conclude here is should be a center of attention. Model character education should be a center of attention. So we have finished about our presentation today. So for the Mr. of Ceremony, how we can take a brief from this presentation?
Sorry, Pak Taufik.
Yes.
What was it?
I think enough for the session of question and answer. So maybe time for break, and I give the rest of time to you, Mr. of Ceremony.
Thank you very much, Pak Taufik Rizky and Bapak Ahmad Saifullah, PhD. Everyone, please give a round of applause for Pak Ahmad Saifullah for such a interactive presentation, I guess. Thank you very much, Pak Taufik and Pak Ahmad Saifullah.
Thank you so much.
Welcome.